Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I'm fixing to do something you never do. I am fixing to go across the border, Mexican-Guatemala border. It is 7 o'clock in the evening now. I'm under perfect conditions. I'm about 3.5, maybe 4 hours from the border. So, and this is 7 o'clock at night. So this is, you never travel at night, and you never do what I'm getting ready to do. That's a no-no. It's danger. I mean, every kind of danger light is coming on right now, and but my car has been in the mechanic for 3 days. And I just got it back, and I have to be out of the country. My car has got to be out of the country today. So I've got to get out of here today. And so I'll go across the border, spend the night in Mexico, and do some running around down in Mexico, and then I'll be working my way back. That's the plan. This is mine. You're going to hear more of this trip, but you won't get anything through the night. This is it. This is the record. Okay, bye. Oh, this is, I forgot to tell you, this is October 8th, 2014. And that's what the date is. It's 7 o'clock that night, Wednesday night. Wednesday night, yep, okay. Okay. I made it through the night. I got down here in 3.5 hours, so did good. There wasn't much traffic. The road was pretty good. I had someone with me that could speak the language. That's really the main reason I had the nerve to head down here. I wasn't sure if they were going to come, and they did. And we're down at the border. We're not at the border itself. We got away from the border. We moved away from the border next town to spend the night. The border at Tapachula's, well, it's El Carmen. It's a very tough place. Very tough, very brutal. Dirty, nasty, hot, very rough place. And so that's why we came back here. And we weren't the only one. We came in last night. This place was plumb full. So now I'm sure all these people are, some cross the border. It usually takes about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to get across the border. Depends on how much hassle you're going to have to go through. They're real brutal down here. I'm trying to let you cross. But anyway, so we are here. We're going to go on and get across the border. And last night, they wouldn't let me cross last night. And they wanted me to go through all the harassment and stuff. So it's going to be a tough day. It's going to take some time to get through. But anyway, I just want to let you know I did make it down here. All right, this is mine. Okay, I'm in Tapachula, Mexico now. Got many problems. Okay, I had to get my car out of Guatemala. I had 3 months, I don't know how you call it, I call it a visa for my car. And I get a three month visa for me. And my 3-month visa is stopped at, what do you call it? It stopped yesterday. That's why I had to leave, get my car out of the country. And so they wouldn't let me leave it, so get out last night. So I ended up crossing this morning. And so since I ended up crossing this morning, now I got to go back across. And now they tell me the law changed and they won't let my car go back. So now I got to pay taxes on my car, and so in other words, register my car in Guatemala now.
know how that's going to work. We'll have to fix that. And all of this is funny because next week, well, I was supposed to head back 2 weeks ago, but I keep getting postponed 1 week, 1 week, 1 week. And so I knew my time was coming up. So now I'm all messed up now. And now on the Mexican side, my car is already registered. And so I don't need to, it's good for 6 months. And I can redo it in another 6 months. So that's not going to be any problem. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know there was a lot of problems on the border. And the same thing, they were going through my passport on the dates, and they asked me what I was doing here back in 2011. And you know, of course I don't remember what I was doing here, so, but anyway, so nothing came out of that. But just wanted to let you know what's going on. I want to try to get back today. Right now I'm going into Tapachula. I have some friends here, and I never come to Tapachula anymore. I never do. Because of the border crossing. It is so difficult to cross the border here. I think there's so much illegal activity coming through here, and that's why there's a lot of bribing and a lot of all kinds of weird stuff going on. So and see, all I really was doing was to come and do some shopping and then go back. And they don't like people going back and forth across the border because they think you're doing weird stuff, or at least that's what they try to portray, and so they can put the pressure on you. But anyway, that's it. I wanted to let you know I am in Tapachula. Tapachula itself, I like the town. It's awful hot. This is where I was when they had the big hurricane in 2006. I made a lot of friends when I was here at that time. But anyway, that's it. I'll let you know. Oh, here, I'll show you a little bit what it looks like. It's a pretty good sized town. They've done a lot of road work. They've really been improving. Like I say, a lot of money's been coming into Mexico. So that's what it is. You see how I'm driving around like I know where I'm going? Hey, that tells you I've been here quite a bit. But anyway, let you know. Okay, catch you later. Yeah. Good morning. This is Mike. And I made it back. Where I was, it's on the southern tip of Mexico. It's called Tapachula, but it's not Tapachula. It's further down, Talisman, and it's even further than that. It's called El Carmen. I'm not sure if that's the Guatemala name or the Mexican name, but it's right there on the border, and that's where I was. It's the nickname for it is Hell, and the reason it is that is the armpit of Mexico and Guatemala. Every bad, evil thing that happens goes through that place. It's very small. It's very small town. It's on a river. A river is what divides the place. There's a bridge there. And it's when you cross countries, it's always testy, I guess you might say. You all the time got to think. And that place is the worst of all. When I make judgments about how bad government is, that's the place that I'm thinking of. You don't know what the law is. They tell you what the law is, and they can make the law anything that they want. I drive. I used to drive there. We cross, go into Mexico, do our shopping, and then come back through. We do that all the time, over and over. Okay, this particular time, they decided that I can't do that. I'd say the first thing was my car, I had to get the car out of the country. And that particular day, that's why I had to go at that particular time. And when that happened, I'd say they knew I was at their mercy. So I did get out of the country. So after I got out of the country, or after I got there, they gave me a lot of hassle leaving the country. So I left. So I went over to Mexico, and then when I came back, then they came up with this, well, you can't come back. You have to wait 90 days before I can let my car back in. They just brought something made up. But they're the ones. You have to go along with it. That's what I'm saying. It's just a bureaucrat. And there's no way you can fight the system. There's probably some really weird little dorky law, if it is a law. But it doesn't even have to be a law. They could just say it. You don't have any idea. So they said, well, I have to go on and pay the taxes on the car. So I said, okay, I'll just pay the taxes. Okay, but it's not just pay the taxes. We got to do all the paperwork. We started at, like say, about 9 o'clock in the morning. I got done at 7 o'clock at night. Really, really frustrating. And how much? How much are the taxes? Well, how much do they say it is? They don't. The law or the government is so corrupt, the government doesn't even trust itself. So they contract out this stuff. All these different things that need to be done, they contract it out. And they don't even trust the contractors. So what the contractors do, fill out the paperwork, and then you go to the bank. So they got a system built up with the bank. And so that's what's going on that. So they had me screwed. There was just no two ways about it. Oh, and they wouldn't let me in the country. They said you had to wait 72 hours to come back in the country. So I had to pay bribes to get back in the country. Well, after I got back in, that's when they told me that I can't bring the car. They don't tell you all this at one time. It is a 3-day trip for me to go to another entrance, another place to cross into the country. 3-day trip to get there. But yeah. But I almost went that route. The only thing was, normally I'm by myself. This trip I had a Guatemala person with me, and they go there all the time. they drive in there. Remember I said, you just drive, you cross, you go in there, do your shopping, and you like that. He's never been held there. That was the first time he was held there. I've been held there probably 3 or 4 times. Not to this extent, but I have been held there. And so I knew the difficulties that were going to be happening. He's never done it like that, and he was totally terrified the whole time, because this place, this is where they do all the drugs running comes through there. All the coyotes go through there. They're bringing illegals through there. From the bridge, you've probably seen it on the news and stuff like that. You can stand there on the bridge and look, and you can see them bringing illegals walking across the river. You can see them bringing all the drugs. You can see them bringing all kinds of stuff across the river. So it's one of these things that you know this stuff is happening. Everyone knows it. Everybody sees it. Everyone knows it. But the ones that are on the bridge trying to do the right thing, they're the ones that are getting screwed. It's just totally amazing. Oh, and then the last half of the day it was raining, so I was doing all this in the rain also. Many layers of bribes you have to pay. It's not a one-time thing, and you've got people that are kind of want to say leading you through, holding you by the hand, going through that. They don't work for the government. They're just people that know the system, and they're screwing you too. And they're bribing, and so they're coming to you saying that they need money, and so they can make the bribe and stuff like that. I don't pay. I don't do none of that stuff. That's why everybody was trying to tell the guy I was with. They kept saying, well, tell him this, tell him that. And he wasn't going to tell me nothing. He knew I knew more about this than what he did. And he didn't want to get involved at all. So, oh man, I got to show you this. This is just too much going on here on this intersection. Yeah. Oh man, I pushed the button. I don't know if you caught all that. That was an exciting intersection. Now, what I got to do now is I got to get a license tag. Oh, shuck it. I got to stop in here and get some money. And there you see the goats? Try to park it right here. I'm sorry to go into so much detail. Hopefully I'll give you a little bit to look at here while I'm telling you. But it ended up I had to pay I don't know yet for sure exactly, but I think it's probably close to about $700 or $800 to pay the taxes and all that stuff. But it wasn't that easy to pay that. They didn't take credit card, and on the Guatemala side they only give you like $100 at a whack. So I had to go back into Mexico again to Tapachula to find, because on the Mexico side they'll give you all you want, the ATM machine. And that's the only way to get it, is through the ATM machine. And so it was a challenge to get the money. And then what's funny is the Guatemala guy that was with me, I went with some guys on the border, these cutthroat guys. They went, I had two of them go with me. And that's what he says. He says, "You want me to go with you?" He didn't want to be left alone, and he didn't want me to be left with just those two guys. And so it was really funny. Yeah, but I say, he was in line to do the paperwork. So he had to stay there to stay in line, and I had to go get the money. So it was a big challenge just to get the money. And we had and then all this time they make deals. The two guys that were with me, they were able to take me across the border, go get the money, and come back again. We didn't get stopped or none of this kind of stuff. So in other words, they've got the system going. All these people are involved in it when you get to these situations. This is at the extreme. I've crossed a lot of borders. This was the worst border that I've ever crossed. It's the most corrupt, most dangerous I've ever even come close to being around. And that's why I hate going anywhere when I have to cross the border. And that's exactly why Americans don't travel. They don't like to travel and all this kind of stuff, is because of the how do you say it? Just difficulties that there are, and how you can be victimized so easily. Now, the only thing that I'm real thankful for is I lost money and I lost time, and the time isn't done. I'm still working on it. They ended up, I had to pay the taxes, but the problem is they took all my paperwork on my car. So I don't have any more paperwork on my car. So now I have to get a new license tag, a Guatemala license tag. And that's what I'm gonna do, and it's probably gonna take me all day today. And I don't know if I'm gonna get my tag. It's just, I don't know if they just gave me a bunch of bogus paperwork or if it's real paperwork. I don't know, but I need to find out before I get stopped. Because once I get stopped and I find out my paperwork isn't right, that's going to add on a whole new world of problems I'm going to have. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like I say, I got to come down here and get my tags, and it's going to be a challenge because it took every bit of my money to get me back here last night. So now I got to find an ATM machine, and I got to go stand in line. I'm doing all this, and I don't speak the language. So it's one challenge after another. This is the park, Central Park. Everything revolves around Central Park. And this is Friday, and they're going to have a celebration tonight. So that's adding on to the confusion going on down here. And what I got to do now is try to find a parking place, and I'm not going to be able to. Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe I can find a parking place right here. There's a truck parked right behind me. What a challenge. Got a truck parked right behind me, pulling right behind. Oh, no, yep, he's still there. So, that's it. We're gonna see what happens. Now I gotta go in and get my tags. This is Central Park. As you can see, they're setting everything up for celebrations for tonight. The license tag thing, I was told it's going to take about a week for me to get my tag, so that's going to set me behind another week getting back, leaving. I'm trying to go to the States, so I went in there and went through one line. After I got through one line, they told me where to go. They gave me some papers, and then I went to another floor, another place. And, oh, man, there was over 100 people in there waiting. I got in line and I waited and waited, and no one moved in the line. So, and the person that was in front of me said that they've been there one day so far. So I left, and now I've been making phone calls. I'm trying to find somebody that can do this stuff, and I'm sure I'm going to have to pay him, but see about getting this stuff done. Because like I say, I don't know if my papers are legitimate papers. They might have just been a scam that they did on me. But it was enough to get me into the country. But like I say, just like all big government, everybody doesn't know what everybody's doing. So, and then like I say, whenever I'm stopped at a checkpoint or whatever, they can say anything they want. They can say these papers aren't right, and when they say that, then I'm open to have my car confiscated. I'm open to a lot of things, and none of it's going to be good. So like I say, I'm in the process of trying to get tags from the paperwork that they got me at the border with, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, I found somebody that you pay, and they do all the paperwork, they do all the standing in line, they do all that kind of stuff, and I'll see him this afternoon, and he says, why didn't we call him in the first place, and then we didn't have to go to Tapachula? We could have done it all right here. So anyway, so there is ways to get things done, and you just have to know the right people to get things done. And that's what I say. In Guatemala, they have everything just like the United States. It's just more obvious. Down here, it's much more obvious. And but anyway, so that's what we're working on now. Well, now what I'm going to do, I see him this afternoon. So now what I'm going to do is I got to make my rounds and talk to people and let them know that I'm back. I turned down a lot of work when I was down there, and now I gotta let everybody know I'm back and ready to work, so I can start making some money. It looks like I'm going to be here for another week. I'm not sure. I talked to the guy this afternoon, but it looks like I won't be heading back for another week. Now, okay, this is Central Park, and I say to the left, you can't see it, but they're doing a lot of putting up all the stands and stuff. where they're getting ready to have the celebration tonight. And so we're going to go on through here. And I'm going to go to where I had some work lined up that I had to cancel. Go let them know I'm back. It's hard for me to telephone people because I don't speak Spanish, and it's even worse on the telephone. So I'm going to run over there and let them know I'm here, and we'll see what happens. Let's see, what else is there? Oh yeah, take a look. Those are some Europeans. We got a lot of Europeans that come here. A lot. And not hardly any Americans. I forgot to mention, the guy on the border was Wilson. Was one of the people that was trying to help me get my paperwork done. And Wilson lived 5 years in Delaware. Delaware and New Jersey. That's where he lived. And it used to be, in the old days, I always told everybody, if you see anybody down here that speaks English, get away from them. And the reason was, like say 20 years ago, if they spoke English, that means they were in the United States. And they're not in the United States anymore. And the reason they're not in the United States anymore, they were probably criminals. So you stay away from people that speak English down here. Nowadays, there's been so many of them that have been going up to the United States that stay there for about 5 years, and they work, they make enough money, and they can buy a home or whatever they need down here, and then start their life here. And so, and I don't know, you saw all those people right there? I don't know what they're over there for. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know what's going on, and I'm going to go over here and see about getting some work. So, okay, I'm just taking some video here as I'm going around the town. So I want just to show you the driving conditions that we're at, and the living conditions. Right here we're coming to the markets part of town, and they've got small markets just spaced all over town. People don't go to the grocery stores, the supermarkets like you know of. What they do is most people don't have refrigeration and this type of stuff, so they end up buying food just about daily. That's why the idea of stocking up, they can't comprehend what that means, because they buy each food for each day. And so I say and this place, anything they have to sell in this country, you're going to find it here in the market. And where at, I don't know. You're just going to have to, you come in, you look, you ask questions, and they'll send you to someplace if you're lucky, if you ask the right questions. And I say this is, and a matter of fact, right here is the market to do your, like a supermarket, right, stuff. And this is Shella, Guatelmala, Guatemala, and in this country, this is one of the marketing centers. I've been told about 150 population, and about 50,000 a day come in to do their shopping. And it's not really like going to the store shopping. All the little markets and all the towns all around us, they come in here and buy stuff. And at the same time, they're producers. They produce stuff, you know, cantaloupe and corn or oranges or whatever, and they bring them in here. And they sell them here. You can see right over here. There's lots and lots of stuff. And to the American mind, it's really confusing, and it's hard to get around. But really, this really is chaos. They have no rules. They don't. If they have laws, they really don't enforce them. They'll have. They have people. I say now this is where people come in and like a wholesalers. That's what this is. This part of the marketing. So this is where wholesalers come in to buy their stuff. So in other words, bulk buys, and they take them to their little shops throughout town and, like I say, in other communities. And you can see that's where they're bringing them in. They bring stuff in here and then they distribute it out. So everything comes in here. And okay. And like I say, you see the bulk. Everything is in bulk. See that? And that's what I wanted to show you. Marketing center in Central America, Guatemala, Guatelmala. And now I'm going to come over here. What I want to do is buy some donuts. They got some kind of religious type people, and they sell donuts here. And I think, see if they're still open. You know, an example of how bad and dangerous that El Carmen, the border town, is. I had a friend that owned property right there on the border, and it was worth maybe $50,000, and they wanted to. People wanted to lease it and just park vehicles there. And what they were doing is they bring drugs down there. That's what I say. They funnel it all down there, and then well, he didn't want to do that, and so they said, well, okay, then they'll buy it, and it's worth $50,000, and they were going to give him $1 million in cash, and you know, you don't want drug money. It leads to bad things no matter what. And so it ended up
you had to find somebody to buy it. And like I say, for $50,000, that's what he wanted, was $50,000, and he wanted somebody to buy it for $50,000, and that's what he ended up doing. He's finally found somebody that he could sell it to for $50,000, because now that person is going to have problems. Now they're going to have to deal with these druggies, and as I say, they'll probably go on and make a deal with them. If not, sell it. It doesn't make any difference. But you got to remember, when they buy something, they don't want their name on the title. See, so it's not like you get out from underneath it just by selling it to them. No, your name stays on the paperwork. And so, in other words, whatever happens, you will be drawn into it. I made a video on that, how it works, how the system works. But if you knew who the players were, that's why I had to take it off public. I think I got it on private. Because like I say, when you know who the people are that are doing all this, you'll understand why. But anyway, it is another world down here. And just because you don't see it, and just because you're not involved in it, doesn't mean that you're not involved in it. You are involved in it. Your tax dollars makes this stuff happen. The politicians you've got in office makes this stuff happen. The United States is really, really corrupt. They are the most corrupt. It's just so big, we just don't see it directly. Okay, now I want to try to finish up the evaluation of my trip to El Carmen. It's the border town that I went on here. It's been 2 days ago. I think all the aftermath is over. I'm going to explain to you now what happened and see if we can clarify some of this. It's going to be a little confusing. I'm going to try to explain it the best I can, try to sum it up. Okay. The first thing, now I'm down here, and I stay down here. Well, like I say, I have no wife anymore, and my kids are self-sufficient. They're 40-some years old, and they can take care of themselves. And so now, normally what I do is just, like I say, I just travel around trying to help others. Down here, it's my wife's family. And long story short, because, like I say, she was assassinated, and because of all this, it's not all clear who all was involved, and so it's been very difficult for me on that. And I'm staying here my presence makes a difference. This is a different world. And I say women don't have any rights, and they get ate up. The system will eat them up. So just my presence is a good thing. Even though I can't speak the language, I don't know the laws, I don't understand anything that's going on, there is a reason for me being here. That's why I'm here. My car had a 90-day permit so I could bring my car into the country. I had a 90-day permit for me to be in the country. I'm still an American citizen, so there's rules that I've got to go by. And you know, I'm not a big law-abiding kind of guy, and the situation calls for, and they're not law-abiding down here either, and so it's really difficult to know what is the real law and do you go by it and stuff like that, because it's obvious. I always say it's obvious down here, but the laws aren't made for the people. You can tell the laws are made for the government. The government benefits from the laws down here. Those are the laws. They probably have other laws, but the only ones they enforce are the ones that the government benefits from. And so anyway, that's what the 90 days thing was. I went to Belize, and they just let me use the same 90-day permit. And now I don't know for sure, but this trip, when I went down there, I wanted just to cross over, get out of the country, do the paperwork, start another 90-day permit. They've asked me to stay here. I've been ready to leave and get back to the States, and they asked me to stay. And that's because there's things going on here that I don't talk about. And so there's a reason why I'm here. And okay, so anyway, when I was trying to come back, they told me I can't come back. The law says 90 days in, 90 days out, my car. So my car's got to stay out of the country for 90 days before I can bring my car back. Another thing was me. I can't leave the country and come back in. It's 3 days. I got to wait 3 days before I can come back in. Like I say, there's a reason why I'm here. Staying gone 3 days. Nobody knew I was left. They don't, just because they don't see me around here doesn't mean that I left the country. And that's why people don't know I left until when I come back. And so that kind of so I'm playing games. We talk about planting the seed of fear. My presence is that. And but I couldn't be gone that long. Plus, I had a Guatemala guy with me, and the people down here don't travel. I travel far more than the people down here, and that's because it's very difficult. I've already told you some of the things that happened to me down here, and most people aren't equipped to handle a lot of the situations, so they don't travel very much. And so this Guatemala guy was the same thing. We were down there. He knew we had a situation, and it was a bad situation. And even though he could speak the language, he felt it was probably better just to be quiet and let me handle it. And that's probably about right. I've been going over it more and more, and I can't figure out any way I could have handled it any better. And I'm not real happy with the way I handled it, but I still can't figure out what I could have done better. Like I say, they had me in a spot. They wouldn't let my car in. I did pay some bribes so I could get back in. And after I come back in, that's when they hit me up with the car. Then I found out I can't get the car in. So it's one step at a time, and it doesn't mean that you can just continually go. Any one of these steps can stop the whole system. Okay, so then what ended up happening, they wanted so much money, and I wasn't going to give it to them. And one of the options, I had two options. One, just to leave and go on to the United States, except for I had the Guatemala guy with me. and I didn't know what to do with him. I didn't want to leave him there because, like I say, he's in a situation. So the next option was to leave that border, and there's another place I can cross. It's about a day and a half away. Day and a half, 2 days, maybe 2-day drive to the other crossing, and then it's another day drive from that crossing back to where I am, instead of a 3.5-hour drive. So now I'm in this position of time, and like I say, so what kind of time? The time factor is involved in there now too, and that's where they get you. That's why I tell you, you never want to be in a hurry when you travel down here. And I don't think they could sense that I was in a hurry. Normally they can sense it when you're in a hurry. I don't think so, because they wanted a whole lot more money, and I was able to get them down probably about a third of what they wanted. I came down, got them down a third. In other words, they got 2/3 of what they wanted. And I had to, I didn't have that much money, so I had to go to an ATM machine. The ATM machines in Guatemala won't give out that much money, so I had to go to Mexico. So I had to drive into Mexico, go cross the border again, find an ATM machine, and then I just pulled out the money. I didn't know, and I know what the racial change is, but I have to change it from the peso, the Mexican peso, to the Guatemala money to get things done. And so I had to do all that. And like I say, so it's a kind of confusing time on it like that. We have the time factor. We started this at 8:30 in the morning. We got done at 7 o'clock at night. And half of the day it was raining on us, and the other half it was really hot. So all the conditions were not in my favor. And I was surrounded. This is where I wish I had someone traveling with me. They could take videos so you could see what's going on. I had at the minimum of 2 people close to me all the time. And so I have to, and as much as 6 or 8. And so you're all the time having to watch for being pickpocketed. And this town, it's a border town. Like I say, it's one of the most dangerous border town I've ever been in. And I've been going through there over 20 years. And it doesn't look as bad as it used to. It used to be, I mean, you could see the danger. Now it's not so obvious when you see it, but I know it's still there. It's bottlenecks. We talked about bottlenecking, and it bottlenecks right there. So all the drugs, the illegals from all over the world, every bad thing funnels down to that town. Now, there's other towns that do it, but this one here is the one. And like I said, you can see some news people. They come down and they take pictures of it, because you can stand there on the bridge, on the border there, and look down there, and you can see all the illegals. You can see the drugs being brought across. You can see everything. It's just right there. I mean, it's not being hid at all. So in other words, and I say, when people travel, a lot of times they'll be traveling from South America or wherever, and they get to that point. Now you got to remember, they're doing these people the same way as they did me. And they start talking about but they don't do it legal. Everybody knows it's illegal what they're doing. So they say, well, to get permit, from the drug cartel or whatever it is they're going to get, and I think it's drug cartels involved in that too, on the human trafficking. So they get a cut of everybody coming in there. And so then a lot of these people, they don't have money when they get there. And so then they take advantage of them. I mean, that was funny because I was while I was waiting there one time, I was in a cantina. And, you know, and then having these women in there, I couldn't figure out what was going on. Those were hookers. And so same thing, a lot of them ran out of money, or they sold themselves to somebody, and that's the way they work they pay themselves back for whoever it is they're working for. Whoever they're working for gives them security. And believe me, right there on the border, everybody needs some kind of security. So I was in the physical. I knew I was in a physical situation where things could happen, and we're right back to being outnumbered. So it's that's why I say the numbers don't bother me too much. Now the guy that I was with, I explained to him before we went down there what to watch for when he sees me do certain things, to get ready to do certain things. So, but like I say, it was a difficult time. I don't know if he would have reacted properly or not. But even in the cantina, I was talking about the cantina, they had people in there that was making fun of me because my Spanish, I don't really speak Spanish. I say make funny noises, it doesn't really come out like Spanish. You got to guess. And they're over there making fun of me and teasing me. Well, same thing. I don't understand Spanish, so I didn't understand what they were doing. And the guy I was with knew what they were doing, and what they were trying to do is irritate me, and because they were trying to start up a fight with me. And but like I say, I wasn't smart enough to figure out what was going on, so that's my way out. And besides that, I'm not even thinking about that. That's why I say is when somebody touches me, or if I think they're going to be touching me. Well, these people just sat in the next table and just shot their mouth out. Kind of like what the comments on YouTube. A lot of these people, they get on there and they talk, and I tell them, hey, just come on down here, show me where I'm wrong, and they don't have, they're just talk. A lot of these people are just talk. And so, in other words, I was in a bad situation. Okay, I went through it. The only thing that went bad on this is the amount of money that I spent. I live within my means. I always do. I always have. Like I said, I've been self-employed all my life. When you know that you're self-employed, your income fluctuates, you live within your means. And it's a habit I've done all my life, and I continue doing it. And yes, I make more money than everybody down here, but down here, I work for their kind of money down here. So I live in the means that I can afford down here using their money. Not taking my US dollars and living like a king, but the money that I make down here is the way I spend my money. But I do live better than the people around here, and that's because same thing, I'm still self-employed, I still make money. Even though it's their money, it's not that much. Like I say, I'll make now I'm making probably about $40 a treatment. And when I get paid, a lot of them I don't get paid for. And but that's still really good when you consider everybody here makes between $150 and $200 a month. And so I still do well. And I save my money. And I ended up spending all the money that I've saved. And on just on that one situation, like I say, they made me. It came up to the point where I had to pay the taxes on the car. How do you know how much the taxes are? You just got to go by their word. And so, that's what it is. Now I'm here, and I'm in the place where we do pay the taxes. And I found out I paid twice as much as what I should have. And even though I got them down a third, I still got ripped off a lot. And I knew it was a lot that I was paying. I just didn't know exactly how much it was. Then when you add all that to when I used my debit card in Mexico, because of the amount, and they don't see me using my card on a regular basis, they gave me that amount, but then they cut my card off after that. So so here I am with no money and no means to get any more money. But the good thing is, like I say, I've got skills, and I've come back, and now I've got a lot of work. But like I say, that's how I'm going to make it, is the work that I'm making now. So I want to start getting my money back again. But using their way of, their means of money, the money that I've saved for 3 months, I kissed off in, like I say, just that one day. And so, but like I say, it's hard to make any money down here. So I don't know what I'm saying. I know I screwed up. I don't know how I could have done it any better. Well, I know the only way I could have done it better is leaving the guy that was with me. I could have left him, and then I would have done all, I say, the other 2 or 3 days going around the other border would have worked. But then, like I say, I'd had to leave him because he doesn't have the papers to go that far. His papers only let him cross right there, not on that other border. So there's all kinds of laws and rules, but you got to remember, they're not always laws and rules. These are things that they make up. So that's why we're right back to what I talk about. When I travel, I don't know the laws and regulations, all that stuff. The same thing applies in the United States, because they do the same stuff in the United States. These police, they make up a lot of these laws. So you got to watch out, how you do all this stuff. That's why we're right back to doing the morally correct thing. Now, that's what put me in the dilemma when I was down there on the border, trying to find out what was the morally correct thing. And the only thing I could think of was the one thing that was morally correct is I had to get back here because my presence was needed. And that's the only thing that I've focused on. And if it cost me money to do it, then it cost me money to do it. I try not to run my life on money. Like I say, I've got skills. I'd rather trade my skills and use my skills to get things done than use money, because it's just, money is not, I haven't seen money, I've seen money being used wisely and good, but seeing I'm a giver. We talked about givers and takers, and most all of the people that watch my videos are givers also. We do have to watch out for the people that try to take advantage of us financially. So, and sometimes it gets to be a difficult situation trying to figure out where you draw the line. But anyway, just wanted to let you know what happened, and the confusion, and all the like I said, we have not only physical dangers, we have emotional dangers, we have financial dangers. There's a lot to when things go bad, and that's why many people don't travel, and that's why many people don't get out and do very much. They stay in their own safety zone, and so they don't have to deal with all this stuff. And the ones that are taking advantage of them know that. So I don't know what to tell you. What you do, and that's what I was saying. If bad things, or right now, if bad things have happened already, and traveling is very difficult. So all these people that think, well, I'm just going to head for the hills. You're not going to head nowhere. It's going to be really tough. Traveling is really a difficult thing to do. But that's why I make all these videos. Hopefully I can give you some ideas and help you think of stuff. But anyway, I'm back and I'm safe. The only thing it cost me was money. And sometimes you just have to pay the price and go on. But I'm not going to be heading back because I was rushing. I'm delayed. My trip going back has been delayed 3 times. I started back 1 week each time. And each time something would set me back even more. And each time it sets me back, I'm getting a little bit more anxious, a little bit more in a hurry to go back. And when I said, when you hurry, you make mistakes. And so now I'm going to have to be back in less than 6 weeks. It takes me 2 weeks to get there, 2 weeks to get back. So that means I'm only going to be there for 2 weeks. So I'm not even going to try to get back. And the reason I ain't got to be back is I'm going to be teaching some of the Hoi Chi in a school in South Mexico, in a town in South Mexico. So, and they scheduled me about 10 months ago. They scheduled me. So, and now it's another thing I learned. Now I won't let anybody schedule me that far along. Because like I say, everything has been set on that date. I knew I was going to be back that date. And that's why I knew I had to leave, because I had to come back at that time. So, I'd say, so I'm not going to be making back to the States here in the recent future. I'll be staying here. And this is spring, right, or fall right now in the States. So it's a nice time to be there. But like I say, things don't always work out the way we want. That's why I'm right back to the same thing. I'm hoping that, I'll tell you, the longer it goes, the more I can see a woman in my life is getting less and less likely. And that's what I need to, so I have a place to stay. And as long as I'll have someone to hold my hand where I can stay. Right now, I don't. And so since I don't, I have obligations that I need to do to other people. Like I say, I'm a giver, and I want to help others. And it just so happens others aren't always where I'm at. So I have to go to those other people. Anyway, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com.